How to train your mind to attract unlimited wealth. They will call it luck. They will call it coincidence. They will say you were born with something they weren't. But they will never see the nights you went to war with your own doubts, the mornings you woke up with nothing but a vision and a fire in your chest. Wealth does not respond to wishes. It bows only to those who command it with the full force of their mind, focused, relentless, and unshakably clear. You were not born to be average. You were not placed here to survive. You are here to build, to rise, to shape reality into a masterpiece forged by thought and hardened by action. But here's the truth that no one will tell you. Wealth is not something you chase. It's something you attract by becoming the person who deserves it, by training your mind to think, act, and believe like the person who already owns the fortune. If you can hold the image of your success so vividly that it burns behind your eyelids, if you can discipline your thoughts with the precision of a master craftsman, then wealth will not resist you. It will flow to you with the same certainty that the sun rises, because it has no other choice. This is not about getting rich quick. This is not about some secret shortcut. This is about becoming the kind of person who wealth is magnetized to, because of who you are, what you believe, and how you think. Every fortune started with a thought. Andrew Carnegie had a thought that steel would build the future. Thomas Edison had a thought that darkness could be replaced by light. Henry Ford had a thought that the automobile was not just for the wealthy, but for every man who dared to dream. They trained their minds to obey their vision, to ignore the noise of the world, and follow the music only they could hear. And that is the beginning of wealth. You see, your mind is the command center. It is the soil from which all results grow. If it is filled with fear, doubt, and distraction, then no amount of hustle will save you. But if it is saturated with belief, clarity, and burning desire, then not even 1,000 failures can stop you. Wealth is first created in the unseen. It begins in silence, in solitude. It is born the moment you decide that your life will be something extraordinary. And you back that decision with faith that never bends. But faith alone is not enough. You must think, not loosely, not casually, but deliberately, with discipline, with direction. Most people are like radios tuned to static, picking up every frequency of fear, failure, and mediocrity. They wake up reacting, drifting, surrendering to whatever life throws their way, and then they wonder why wealth avoids them, why nothing changes, why opportunity seems to knock on every door except theirs. The answer is simple. They have never trained their mind, never claimed authority over their own thoughts, never decided with absolute conviction that they would be the one who rises. You must become ruthless in guarding the temple of your mind. You must choose what you let in like a king guards his castle, because what enters your mind enters your life. Do you fill it with doubt, with gossip, with scarcity, or do you saturate it with purpose, with vision, with the sound of your future calling your name? The wealthy think differently. They do not look at what is. They look at what could be. They do not ask, can I afford this? They ask, how can I create it? They do not see problems as obstacles. They see them as puzzles waiting to be solved by the sheer force of will. And they do not fear failure. They feed on it. Because failure to them is not defeat, desau. It is data. It is direction. It is refinement. So how do you begin this transformation? You begin by reclaiming your mind. You wake up before the world begins to scream. You find silence before the chaos. You sit with your thoughts, and you decide what kind of life you are building. You do not let the news or the opinions of others or yesterday's failures write today's story. You write it. You author it. You design it like an architect designs a skyscraper, not haphazardly, but with intention. Every morning you rise, you program your mind with clarity. Not I hope I make it, but I will. Not I wish I had more, but I am becoming more. Not someday, but today is the day I move. The wealth you desire is not outside of you. It's waiting on the other side of your discipline. Train your mind to see abundance in the smallest places. Train it to focus when the world tries to distract you. Train it to persist when everyone else folds. You do this daily. Not once, not occasionally, but every single day. Because success is not a destination. It is a rhythm, a pulse, a mental frequency you lock into, and when you do, the world begins to bend. Now listen, you will be tested. Life will throw storms at you. People will doubt you. You will fail more times than you can count. But if your mind is trained, if it is forged in the furnace of faith, discipline, and action, then nothing can break you, and that is when wealth begins to find you. Not because you're lucky, but because you've become the kind of person wealth trusts. Do not be deceived by appearances. The world will show you glitter and gold, fast cars and quick wins, but those are the fruits, not the roots. The roots lie buried in the unseen work, the unglamorous habits, the silent hours where no one is watching and yet you show up anyway. Wealth is a frequency and your mind is the transmitter. You are either tuned to prosperity or you are broadcasting poverty without knowing it. Listen carefully. Scarcity is a virus of the mind. It spreads through words like, I can't, that's too much. People like me don't get that. Every time you say it, even in jest, you reinforce chains you were never meant to wear. But abundance begins with a whisper. A quiet voice that says, there is more. There is enough. There is a way. The greats, they listened to that voice. They followed it through the dark when no one else believed because they knew something. You must now know. The mind that is trained to believe in abundance will always find it. Not because it's easy, but because it is inevitable. Edison failed over 10,000 times to invent the light bulb. Was he delusional? No. He was devoted. He trained his mind to see each failure not as an ending, but as a step forward. That is the mind of wealth. Disney was told he lacked imagination. He was fired, rejected, broke, but he had something most people never even consider. A mental blueprint so vivid, so alive, that he could already walk through the gates of Disneyland in his mind, long before the world caught up. You must do the same. You must build the vision in your mind first. Make it so real, so tangible, that when the world calls you crazy, you smile, because you've already seen the promised land. This is not fantasy. This is mental discipline, mental toughness, mental alignment. When your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions are in agreement, the world begins to bend in your favor. You do not attract wealth by begging it to come. You attract it by becoming undeniable, by becoming so valuable, so clear, so aligned with purpose that the universe has no choice but to respond. That is not philosophy. That is law, like gravity, like time. Clarity is the beginning of power. Until you know exactly what you want, your mind will scatter like dust in the wind. The man who knows what he wants and believes he will have it already holds power the world cannot understand. You must see it in detail. Not I want to be rich. That is noise. You must define it. How much? Doing what? Living where? Waking up to what kind of day? Until your vision is sharp enough to paint, you are walking blindfolded. Write it down. Speak it aloud. Build it so vividly that your mind cannot distinguish between vision and reality. Because once your subconscious accepts it, your body will begin to move in alignment. That is how the wealthy live. They act from the identity of their vision, not their current circumstance. They do not wait for the bank account to rise before they think like an owner, a leader, a creator. They think like that now because wealth is not a result, it is a reflection.